Shalom friends! As we stand here in Jerusalem, our eyes are often fixed on our immediate borders, on the Galilee, the Golan, and the sands of Gaza. But the fall of Maduro regime isn't just news, it's a strategic earthquake for the axis of resistance. As any strategist in our defense establishment will tell you, the war for Israel's security is being fought on a global chessboard. Today, that board has shifted dramatically in our favor. Here is why this is a massive victory for Israel's security. The news from South America is nothing short of a miracle for the free world. On January 3rd, 2026, the United States executed Operation Absolute Resolve, a lightning military strike that decapitated the Maduro regime in Caracas. The capture of Nicolas Maduro by U.S. forces is more than just a regime change in a distant land. It is the collapse of a critical forward operating base for Tehran, Moscow, and Beijing. However, even as the world celebrates, I've noticed that some on the left have already begun to mourn the fate of this regime and attack President Trump for his decisive action. To those voices, I say, it's time to face the facts that the left most dislikes. The truth about this collapse, the narrative that sanctions destroyed Venezuela is a lie. The ruin of that once great nation was an inside job. Long before the first American sanction was ever signed, the Maduro regime was busy nationalizing and confiscating oil facilities from American companies without a cent of compensation. Basically, they stole it. They ignored billions in debt and refused to pay arbitration awards from the World Bank. By transferring the management of the nation's lifeblood from private professional hands to corrupt government hacks, they initiated a total economic collapse. The Maduro regime was not a victim of the West. It was a communist dictatorship that used force to suppress every opponent, eventually even stealing the 2024 election, despite a landslide victory by the opposition. Now, what is the Tehran-Caracas-Hezbollah connection? For us in Israel, the most chilling aspect of the Maduro regime was its role as a sanctuary for Hezbollah and the IRGC. When Maduro created a catastrophe at home, he found his most natural ally in Iran. This wasn't just a political friendship, it was a military and criminal merger. Venezuela and Iran have collaborated openly on military technology, including the production of the Mohajer 6 drones, the very same drones that threaten our northern border. This alliance served one purpose: to bypass international law to keep both regimes alive. Venezuela provided a sovereign umbrella for Hezbollah's most lucrative business, the drug trade. By partnering with the Cartel of the Suns, Cartel de Solar, the drug-running wing of the Venezuelan military, Hezbollah managed to launder billions that directly funded the missiles aimed at Tel Aviv. Furthermore, the regime turned a blind eye to the human cost of this partnership. Under Maduro, Venezuela became a primary actor in flooding the U.S. with hard drugs, contributing to the deaths of tens of thousands of Americans annually from overdoses. This wasn't just a crime, it was a hybrid war against the West. And obviously, of course, there's also the oil smuggling with their shadow fleet of unregistered tankers that they claim don't belong to them and are straw company held in different godforsaken parts of the world, which are used to bypass international sanctions on both countries. In addition, for Russia and China, Venezuela was the crown jewel of their access. Each member played a specific role in keeping this dictatorship in power. Russia provided the S-300 missile systems and the Wagner-style mercenaries that served as Maduro's Praetorian Guard, although not too successfully it seems. Their goal was simple: use Venezuela as a thorn in America's side to distract from their own aggression in Europe. China, meanwhile, acted as a digital jailer. They provided the surveillance technology used to track and crush dissidents in exchange for a stronghold on Venezuela's oil reserves. Even North Korea played a part, assisting with cyber calibration and dark web financial maneuvers to help the regime generate hard currency outside the SWIFT international banking system. Now, why is this an Israeli victory? You might ask why Israel should care about a raid in Caracas. It is simple. Terror is a global franchise. The removal of Maduro is a blow to the heart of the global axis of resistance. Every dollar seized from the Venezuelan narco trade is a dollar that cannot reach the Hezbollah's missile program. Every Iranian drone factory dismantled in South America is one less threat to our Air Force to worry about. Most importantly, the capture of Maduro sends a message that echoes from Caracas to Tehran. No matter how many Access friends you have, the reach of justice is long. It is baffling to see some in the Israeli left and the global left weep for a regime that actively facilitated our destruction. We who recognize the face of evil know better. Today, the world is a little safer and the access is a little smaller. Just take a moment to think about it. From this perspective, Maduro and his control of Venezuela equals bad. He being gone equals good. Sure, you might not like how it was done or feel that the way it was done is a breach of international blah blah blah, but he aimed to harm the US, Israel, and the liberties that we stand for. Now, if that assumption is yours, as it is mine, then look who is protesting about him being gone, and look who is celebrating about him being gone. That's how you know who is on what side of the chessboard. I, for one, am celebrating. Now, take a moment, like, subscribe, share, comment, and so on and so forth. And now let's move on to a quick update from our region. The demonstrations in Iran are escalating. 8 to 20 protesters were killed in the province of Elam, and additionally, the Bastille military forces surrounded and sieged the hospital where the wounded from that protest are in order to arrest them. On the one hand, the rulers are calling the demonstrations legitimate, economic issues that need to be fixed, and so on in order to lower the flames. And on the other hand, they are warning that they will not tolerate destabilization and hinting at stronger responses. We will see how that continues, especially in light of Donald Trump's threats that the US is locked and loaded, and even more so after what happened in Caracas. In Yemen, Saudi Arabia conducted multiple strikes on the UAE-backed separatist positions in Hadramaut, reportedly killing 20 fighters, and successfully backed the National Shield Forces, their proxy, in retaking the capital city of Mukalla and the Suyan airport. The United Arab Emirates formally announced the completion of its military exit from Yemen, pulling all remaining counterterrorism units out, but firmly rejected Saudi allegations that it was still shipping weapons to the southern separatists. Regarding their proxies, the STC declared a new constitution for an independent state of South Arabia and a 2-year transition to a referendum, while at the same time the STC blocked Saudi delegations from landing in Aden, leading to a temporary air blockade by the Saudi-led coalition. Meanwhile, the National Shield, which are the Saudi-backed proxy, seized control of key eastern provinces, including Hadramaut and Al-Mahra, to restore order. The Houthis are maintaining a tactical, full silence in regards to the Red Sea attacks while watching the Saudi-UAE coalition fracture internally. They're just keeping on quiet and hoping their enemies break apart. Additionally, the Houthis officially referred 69 detained UN and NGO staff to a special criminal court in Sana'a for trial. This is, of course, a mock trial against civilians and hostages that they took. Now, the reach of justice is long, and today it reached Caracas. We'll keep a close eye on the escalating situation in Iran and Yemen as the fallout continues. If you value these strategic updates, hit that subscribe button and stay informed. We'll see you in the next one. Pray for Iran, Venezuela, and Yemen. Pray for Israel, pray for the US, and pray for us here at Netivyah. Am Yisrael Chai.